So this is the test review. So I'm just going to go through some of them. I'm not actually going to do all the problems because most of them are pretty repetitive. But I'll, for example, do number 1, number 5, and number 7, just so you can get an idea of how to do the pages and stuff like that. So for number 1, you're asked to find R of 8. So this is R right here, R of S. So you're just going to plug in 8 into everywhere you see S. So you're going to do 8 cubed minus 1/4 times 8. And that'll turn into, I think it's 512 minus 2. So your answer should be 510. And so for these ones, you're really just plugging in numbers and then finding what that's equal to. Sometimes you might have more than one. And so in this case, it's best to kind of find R of 16 and find A of 2 and then just subtract the 2. So R of 16, 16 cubed minus 1/4 times 16. A of 2 is equal to negative 2 times 2 plus 32. And I believe that becomes, let's see, 16 cubed is 4096 minus 4, so that equals 4092. And then this becomes negative 4 plus 32, so that's 28. So you're just going to do 4092, because that's R of 16, minus 28, which is A of 2, which is going to give you minus 28 becomes 4064. So that's how you would do a problem like that. If you have a problem where you have two functions, so you have K of 4 inside of A, you're going to solve whatever's on the inside first. So you're going to do K of 4 and then plug whatever you get into A. So K of 4 would be 4 squared minus the square root of 4, which is equal to 16 minus 2 is equal to 14. So we know K of 4 is equal to 14. So now you can do A of 14, which is the same as saying K of 4. And so that's negative 2 times 14 plus 32. And that's equal to negative 28 plus 32. So your final answer should be 4 for that question. So that should help you figure out the rest of that page. For section 2, for this part right here, you're just going to be matching the shape with whatever's there. So for example, since this is a V, the parent function is an absolute value. For number 12, it's a straight line, so it's linear, which is E. 13 is like a squashed thing, so it's actually a cube root, so that's B. Number 14, the X is in the exponent, and when that happens, it's always going to be exponential. Even if it's not 2, if X is in the exponent, it's an exponential. For number 15, this is a quadratic because it's squared, and for number 16, that's an absolute value. Okay, so for these ones down here, you can pick any x's that you want. So the goal of this table is to help you to graph whatever is right here. So I usually like to pick negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, just because that tells me what's happening on both the negative and the positive side of the graph. So if you plug in negative 3 into this equation, you should get negative 15, I believe. If you plug in negative 2 into that equation, you should get 0. If you plug in negative 1, that'll get you to 3. If you plug in 0, that gets you 0. If you plug in 1, you're going to get negative 3. This is actually going to end up being 0 again, and this is going to be that was negative 15, and this is going to be positive 15. So you're just going to plug in some numbers and find what those points are. So now we know we have a point at negative 3, negative 15. We have a point at negative 2, 0, and so on and so forth. As you notice, there is no 15 on this graph, so we're just going to graph really this part right here. So we have negative 2, 0, negative 1, 3, 0, 0, 1 at negative 3, and then at 0 again. 315 will be like somewhere down here, and 15 for that will be up here. So the graph is going to look like this, except, that's the main idea. For these questions, just make sure you have at least 3 points here, and that so like for this, it's a cube function, so it's going to have that wiggly shape. Over here, so I'm going to go ahead and pick my -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3 again. And if I plug this in, this is actually going to be -7/8. This is going to be -3/4. This is -1/2, 0. Sorry, not 0. That is, no, it is 0. 1 is going to be 1. 2 is going to be 3. 3 is going to be 7. Okay, so now I have some points. I'm going to go ahead and graph it. It's going to get real small down here. But it'll basically go up like this. And it's going to have this sudden jump because remember exponentials get close onto an asymptote and then it goes up. So this is what we're going to see. Wow, that was a terrible drawing. So it'll look something like that for this question. So make sure you just fill in this table. I recommend doing about 6 points so you can see what the general feel of the graph is going to be. And just make sure you double check what it's supposed to look like using your parent functions. So like exponentials and cube functions. I'm just going to do one of these. So I'm going to do number 20. So I know it didn't print out all the lines. So that's actually going to be at 0, 6 is the y-intercept. And I have 3 x-intercepts. I have one at -2, 0. I have another one at 1, 0. And yet another one at 3, 0. So you'd have to list all of them. There is no maximum, or the maximum is infinity. So you can either say the maximum is infinity or there is no maximum. And the minimum is either -infinity or no minimum because it keeps going forever in either direction. For this question on the top, the minimum would be -4 for y. The domain, since I can have any x value I want, the domain is all real numbers or from -infinity to +infinity. And likewise, since I can have any value for my y, my range is going to be -infinity to +infinity. If I stood right here, I'm going to just stand there and I look to the left, I can see that it's going down. So my left-hand behavior is going down. And if I looked to the right, I would see that the graph is going up. So the right is going up. It's increasing in 2 places, from -infinity and then to like -1. And then it's also increasing from 2 to +infinity. So it's actually increasing in 2 places, and then it's decreasing from -1 to 2 because it's going down. So just this is super tedious, but you do have to go through each step and just make sure you've got it all down. For these questions, I'm going to do 22 and 25 and 26. So with these, you're figuring out which one you're going to use based on what this number is. So I want to find -2. -2 is less than 4, so I'm going to use the first equation here. So I'm going to just plug it in. -2, it goes into where x went, and that's equal to -8, I believe. So your answer should be -5 for that one. For 26, since 6 is more than 4, we're going to be using that second equation. So -6 plus absolute value of 6 plus 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. So my answer is -7 because I have that negative at the front. For this one, for f of 4, both of them say 4, but only one of them has the included, and that's the second one. So I'm actually going to use that second equation. So my answer should be -5. Cool, and I'm just going to go ahead and do number 29 to show you guys how to do the graphing one. So we've got, I'm going to go ahead and just graph this one first because it doesn't have any absolute value. So my y-intercept is -4 and my slope is 1/2, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw some of those. And so my line will look like this. It's a little bit off, but oh well. Okay, and I know that I only care about this function if x is more than -2. So I'm going to find -2 and erase everything to the left of that. And since it's included, since as you can see it says equal to, it's going to be a filled circle. So I'm going to just fill that in. Okay. For this first one here, for the absolute value of 2x minus 1, I'm going to make a chart just so I don't get anything messed up. So I'm going to choose, since I care about if it's less than -2, I'm just going to start with -2 and go, sorry, that's -3 and go down. So I'm going to make some points there. And then I'm just going to plug those values into 2x minus 1. So that's going to be, it's -4 minus 1 is -5. Absolute value of that is 5. And so that one's going to be 7. And this one's going to be 9. And that one's going to be 11. So now I'm going to graph that. So -2 is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. -3 is at 7, and then everything else kind of goes off. So I'm just going to make my line go like this. And then this is not included, so I'm actually going to erase this part and put an empty circle right there. So hopefully that helps prepare for the test. The answer key is also available on Canvas. Let me know.